commendable, and I want to, on behalf of all of those who are helping, thank all of you. We are very proud of what you're doing, and we want to be in position to also support the various efforts that you're making. In Sierra Leone, as you know, or you might not be fully aware, quite a lot has happened, and quite a lot is happening positively. I think as a government, or let me say, as a party, we have not been very good at telling our stories. We have covered quite a lot of grounds, but we should be able to tell those stories if they have to fetch us the necessary support from you. Because the diaspora are a special group of people. They have special needs. The diaspora, and they need special attention. So that is why we have a directorate now at the foreign ministry, so that your needs can be catered for. You know, whenever you come out here, people have acquired skills, people have acquired experiences, people have acquired different set of skills that they want to take back home. It is not easy to go back home, but that is a decision that you have to make. Make no mistake about that. When we invite, people think that I should be able to provide jobs for everybody. But the ideal situation is we are creating a policy environment, an environment that caters for the sort of skills that you have, so that you can go back home, because we know that when you go back home, the discipline, the work ethics that you have here are needed there. It is difficult when you tell people, come to work at 8:30, they don't understand what 8:30 means. But I know that all of you know what time is here. Because if you have a job, you have to do it on time. If you don't do it, you're fired. As simple as that. And when you are out here, you go through that routine. Also, you know, 5, 15, 20 years, it becomes part of you. I'm not out there. We have to get people to encourage into that. We have to get people to understand that time is money. We cannot afford to lose it. So we want to encourage you at all times. Even Mr. Senesi, who is trying to go back home but is afraid. The re-entry is never easy. Because when you go back there, you also have people in your area, in your sector, who have been there. And what I've been struggling with, they don't easily give you that space. They're not going to offer that space on the silver platter. You have to fight for it. You know, you get for shooks, you know, they take yourself to those small. They be able. But for saying, as you can't want to say, this now. Na diaspora, that what they say, you know. I tell people, they say, well, at one time I say, I mean I'm in diaspora. They say, no, you don't be diaspora. I say, well, I've been in the diaspora for a very long time, so I also know what they want and what they can bring to the table. So we just want to encourage, you know, Sierra Leoneans. For me, frankly speaking, we come out here to learn, to acquire skills, experience, and to take that back home, because that is the place we call home, and that is where the scarcity of the sort of skills, work ethics that you guys have that we need. You don't necessarily have to work for government, but wherever you are, I know you will make your own little difference, and that is what accumulates into the national development of any country. It is not only the government. I mean, you must have heard about the many things we are trying to do to make Sierra Leone look better, and Sierra Leone is looking better. I say that with authority. Today, it is not the Sierra Leone you knew about 4 years ago, where they just say, that corrupt country, that Ebola country, that war-torn country. Today, we are a different Sierra Leone. In the Committee of Nations, now we can be counted as an actor that has influence. you must have heard about the African peer review mechanism, which I have been appointed as chair. That before me, it was Ramaphosa who was the chair, and they don't just do these sort of appointments very easily. They have watched our records and they know that we are doing extremely well when it comes to governance. In fact, last year we were peer reviewed, and because of our excellent scores, that is why they said, yes, this country can be under this leadership. Of course, we chair the C10, that is the Committee of 10 for the reform of the United Nations Security Council. Again, this is a highly political position. It is sought after by all the big nations in Africa. They would want to be the chair. Egypt would want to be South Africa, Nigeria, and all of this. But we have handled it very well in the past 4 years. Now, everybody wants to be the chair of the C10 because of the power. I mean, we are negotiating with the greatest powers in the world, the P5, to be able to give us entrance. And they are closing the gate, they are guarding the gate, but we have not relented. We said, we in Africa, we have 1.2 billion people, we have to have a seat at the United Nations Security Council. That is what we canvass and campaign for, and that is what I lead. So Sierra Leone, because for you in the diaspora, you should be proud of your country for you to even want to associate with it. Before today, all you had was bad news most of the time. Today, I'm sure we are all clapping for Leone Stars until we lost out. So that is football. All teams can lose. We only had one winner at the end of the day. But after nearly 26 years, we are able to go back there. It was not an accident. It is deliberate. It is intentional. A lot of effort has gone into that. They said, I mean, you shouldn't mix politics and sports. But we had to, behind the scenes, very closely, you know, not interfering directly, but behind the scenes, we had to push. That was how we qualified. And that was how we went that far. We are a good people with a lot of talent. And when we put that aside and work together, we can achieve great things. And that is why I always encourage Sierraleoneans, you know, but that's not the pay. Support one another. There's nothing wrong to, you know, when you know somebody has a talent in something, support him or her at all times. Not make by that, you know, now this one more. God has given us different gifts. Just last year, Jeremiah Toronka was, what's the name of the prize again? Say again?
The Global Student Prize.
Yes, that was given in Paris actually. That is a Sierra Leonean. You know, so we are beginning to come up again. Now, like I said today, once we are the cradle of education in Africa. Today, at the time I took the reins of office, of governance, few people, 3 out of 5 adults cannot read or write. That is not a good story for a country where the first university, Western University, was established south of the Sahara. Where did we lose it? What was happening to us? Leadership. It's all a function of leadership. So it is not easy to understand what is happening in Sierra Leone because we have so much to do that the little we have done to change the narrative cannot be easily seen because there is so much mess to clear. That is the truth. So, but a few of you who are genuine, who have done objective analysis of what we are doing, do understand that there is effort. I mean, a year after we came in, COVID struck. And COVID has been debilitating. We thought, I mean, the West thought we are going to be picking bodies on the streets in Africa. Luckily, almost the opposite happened. Africa has been saved. We have fought off COVID, and you know, by the hands of the very Almighty, I think we are made stronger. So we have been able to control that to a very large extent. So instead of being a big health hazard, it has become an economic problem because it has disrupted the supply chains, international supply chains. So if you want something at Freetown, where it cost you 10,000, now it lands in Freetown 20,000. Because when you cannot get a container very easily, for those who are doing business, they will tell you, when you get the container, the freight said don't go up. So when people then talk about hardship, it is not hardship as a result of wrong economic policies or corruption or the many vices that that were prevalent in Sierra Leone. This is a world situation. I guess even here, inflationary trends are quite high. So we have not been spared too. But ours is more difficult because a lot of people are not employed. If they are employed, the salaries are very small. So when there is an increase in price of whatever nature, it affects them. The quality of life drops immediately. So we are struggling. We have taken off all taxes, and when you take off taxes, then the state does not get revenue. When you don't have revenue, you cannot attend to those social needs of the people. Health, education. And we are one of the countries spending the highest portion of our GDP on education. 22%, a whopping 22%. We are the only country in the world that provides free quality education for the girl child doing STEM for 17 years. We provide free quality education for everybody for 14 years. We have to pay for that. We pay for their transition exams. We even took up we are still struggling with that. I don't know where we are now. You know, when the results come out for the transition exams, MPSC, they had this scratch card thing. That was taking a lot from the parents. We took all of that off. When we calculated, it was 17 billion, 1.7.
Wow.
We want to free up that expenditure from the parents. Today, 2.5 million kids are going to school, all paid for by government. 700,000 additional new learners are in school. The results are beginning to improve. Interestingly, in just 4 years. That's spy where they be found. You don't let us say, you know the spy in the world, you get for land. It doesn't work, and we are taking that bad habit away from them and forcing them to read. We have brains. People know that Australians are brainy, but we've been lazy, and that culture of laziness is what we have to take aside. So it's normally difficult if I don't have, normally a list of all the things, but it is quite huge what we have done so far. Yeah. You know about the abolition of the death penalty.
Yeah.
That has been hailed around the world. Because for me, we want to be a liberal, progressive nation. We should be free to choose our leaders, and our leaders should not have the fear of the opposition leaders should not have the fear of death penalty. I would say you want to make coup, or you hang something ahead and kill you. No. That has been used in the past. We know that. Some of us who are older. the seditious libel law. We have removed that from our books. That kept, that cowed journalists for over 55 years. So it is easy to see our intention as a government, and that's why I'm proud of my party, the values that we issue, the values that we stand for. We go win election clearly. We're not going to go begin with this rogue, all the incident. No, we can speak to the people. If you say some APC people in France, I didn't do anything different. I didn't give anybody money, as you know.
No,
but what we have done is change the narrative. Politicians have been known to lie.
Exactly.
And I am not going to lie to you. Before I came to office, I have the benefit of hindsight. I've been in that office, albeit a short time, and as a military man. So I came with a program. I said, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this. From day one, I had my laundry list. That is what I've been doing. People stumble into politics and they get there, they have no program. They spend 2 years trying to identify what to do. So we went there, we said education. And you will all agree with me, why education? Why education? I will never stop that. We should keep that in part of our constitution. Well, it's actually there. It's a right in Sierra Leone. But because the opposition, especially the APC, know that when you enlighten people, then you give them the instruments to question you critically. And they don't want to be questioned, so they kept us in the dark. Unfortunately for them, some of us were able to creep through the cracks, and we have been enlightened. And we are not afraid of them, and nobody should be afraid of the other. Let's bring the policies to the people. Let the people make their choice. And that is what we are trying to do. And that is what I will encourage you, SLPP, to do. I've told them no longer argument about, you come up from north, we come up from south, this, this, this. No. We all have the same basic needs. North, south, yellow, or black. We made a pledge, and those pledges are in the manifestos that we provided, signed by the various leaders. When APC won the election, they had a manifesto. Did they go by that manifesto? They never looked at it ever. Because the first thing that we do now for bring cocaine, and I'm sure that was not in their manifesto. If you take our manifesto today, you can tick as many pages and just keep going. In fact, we have done more things out of the manifesto than in the manifesto.
Indeed.
So I want us to bring civility to our politics. So the next time you have to argue with an APC, so bring your manifesto if they have a copy. Grab a copy and put on. We know they can't cause because my dad is Then I'm Munkule.
Yes.
The manifesto puts in your own. Say yes, I don't go. We too not do go education. When I kill them. They made sure all throughout the time they were there that nobody stayed on campus at the University of Sierra Leone for Bay College.
Oh my God.
Why? Whether they are able for Bay College. Quick, they don't holler. Mobilize. Then they go down for they say now when they did it, I need to mobilize. So when you get for Komo Wellington or Waterloo, or you come over with yourself, you don't eat to carry, when can they do the mobilize? Now we go to school and go right back. You are killing education.
Yeah.
Poor people who have come from Kabbalah, it not get person for live with, it not get place for day. Some man not able to continue. So they did, these were deliberate policies on their side. For me, I believe that there is always room for dialogue. The people and the young men and women in the university are not just going to just jump and say mobilize. We are doing so much for them. We want them educated, as a matter of fact. That is an asset to us, rather than a liability or a threat, as they have always viewed it. So our approach to education, because it is a universal key, that's how I call it. One key they would call master key. When you have that, I don't care where you go. I don't care whether you have a formal job or not. You will always find your way. It is not always about employment. It is about what education gives you. It gives you the instrument to know how to apply yourself under difficult circumstances, where the other person cannot analyze and things and know which line of option to take. You have that. But it's so innate, it's so part of you that you don't realize it. And that is what helps a lot of people. And we have different types of education. And so we are proud to put premium on education and to free up the society. No more death penalty, no more seditious libel law. The women we are freeing by the empowerment, women empowerment bill. We want them to be in parliament. We want them to sit with us when we make decisions. You heard what we did for the SGBV, Violence Against Women, Sexual Offences Act. We have toughened the laws on punishment for those who break the law, especially rape, which is on the increase. There is so much we have done, and this we didn't use COVID as an excuse. In fact, our investment on education actually increased during COVID. A lot of people are surprised. I think in Uganda they only opened schools for 2 years. We went only for a short recess. We kept our kids in school. We cannot solve all the problems in 4 years, or in 5 years, or even in 10 years. But ladies and gentlemen, one thing I can assure you is that we have started the process of retrieving Sierra Leone from the dungeons that it has been thrown. It's going to take a while, and it's going to take the concerted effort of all of us. This is why when you talk about are they doing this, every effort, not to SLPP, not to presidentbio for make shalom. All the little efforts you've been describing differently, it is the cumulative effect of all of this that Sierra Leone will be a better place. Today we go for meetings, people talk about Sierra Leone, I start to wonder if not they mean a president, because I keep forgetting. Yeah, but yes, we keep bashing ourselves. Nothing really happened, and we fully distort the information for just make we look bad. We have idiots sitting here every day, 13 people there. Say we the feds. We not fed them this. Let me go fed. You know they say like when I say, hey, I don't say one small something for me from or medicine go before, or medicine don't go before. We can burn here and that. We just, you know, I start to wonder, are we really Sierra Leoneans? Is this the attitude? You come here, you don't get nothing I did. Now for jobs, I cannot. I don't listen to it. No. I have no reason in the world to listen. I cannot even put up with one of those invectives. But there are so-called bad politicians who encourage and support, financially support them.
Indeed.
But then you, Sierra Leoneans, should be smart to know bad politicians. That's why I normally qualify politicians, bad politicians. You've been used to bad politicians, and that's why you are so critical sometimes the way you treat other politicians. And I normally say, I understand the people. If from school I've been lied to all throughout, I have no reason to believe a politician. How can somebody support? I don't even call his name. because it's giving credence to him.
Yeah.
So why would you even... and there are people sending money for him.
Yeah, indeed.
And these are people who have led that nation. It's a shame.
A very big shame.
So, for the few of us who have the right attitude towards national development, we should also come together. When you tell me the various things you are doing, just to improve yourself, just to maintain yourself, and when you make allude to some of the things that we have done, you remind me. Sometimes I forget. I remember we were in the UK and I was talking about something totally different, and the Secretary for Foreign Affairs, yes, he said to me, "You are talking to the Prime Minister and you have not said all the things you have done." I said, "What have I done?" Then he went on. I was ashamed because for me, it's a duty. I have done it. I promised it, I have delivered, so I don't even remember. Then he said, "No, these are important things that you are doing. We are struggling with other countries to do them."
Was the Minister for Africa.
Yes, with the Minister for Africa. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying all of this and many things I will not be able to say here tonight because we are making progress. Do we have challenges?
Yes.
Yes. Sleepless nights? Yes. We've been in the wind, your wind, from morning. To even land here, the wind did not want to permit us to land. If we are in the air like this, we finally landed. I don't know how we are going to get up. Tomorrow. It's been like that the whole day. But it's always pleasing to meet readiness. Leadership is about you, to serve you. I wanted to sleep, but they said they don't come home. I said I better get up. And so I grabbed car. Okay, listen to me. Nobody not talk nonsense. The man don't read in CV, I don't study CV now. So we go look for the space. If we don't see him, we still go continue for look. Because we have to. Now we get from Exalo. Not have Bopa with man. No. That's a big mistake that we do. Just today, because of good governance. No country today. You remember the bashing I received that we are so bad in our country that we even mislead. Anything way good where they come, with the smear, we make it look bad. When I know about the MCC compact, not so. It's a long process, but by next year we will definitely begin implement. We don't know how much we will get from that because we still didn't negotiate. After we don't qualify, you don't get you get for sit down there. A lot of processes. Until next year, that will be nothing less than $300-400 million grant. Wow. And why is the America? Anybody there who don't live in America? No. If they ever give you $1. If they give you 300, 400, 500 million, whatever that amount will be, it means you are worth it.
Yeah.
And we are able to establish that we are worth it as a nation. Just less than 2 years we qualify. And the third year they finally give it. Because of what we are doing. And for the same things that we are doing, and the assessment by the MCC, in fact the MCC only collates from different international bodies, transparency, this, that, if they just collect, they put them together for see how is the world feeling about you. Then they say, you don't pass. For corruption, we keep going up. Corruption don't know. But they know that we are making effort. We will continue to do that. We want to make corruption not a fashion again. people they're afraid for, yuki. If not to that, we're not going to ever see the money.
Yeah.
So, for me, the MCC, now a clean bill of health for we as a government. Today, the EU ready say about 245 million euros, and then go for putting sites alone for the next 4 years. Why? Because of the way we don't provide governance. They are very happy with education. They are very happy with the liberal, progressive moves we don't make, the many things they want to do. They talk about the death penalty, the abolition. They talk about the seditious libel law. They talk about, empowerment of women, and many other things. So sometimes we don't go back so far that you may not see us coming back from that. But we are. We don't change the gear. We know the reverse gear again. So man still hold on it. And this is where the fight is difficult. Because some people, Bombardier gets very good result this time. They say nobody knows to talk about that. Because they say we'll give this party and this government
Good name, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, the result will be changed. Examination result. Why would anybody want to deprive that good information? Make many picking and parents they not say they don't begin improved.
Yeah.
That is bad politics.
Indeed.
It's true. They did not to data day information they were not to be created. The result they did. Even may I not just say Bombardé, Pujem. Wait to make a talk for Bombardé. They say no, if una president for that day, that means they make the go before. That means they are doing well. So we not for talk about that day. But like when we took over in the minister's home district, Pujem, no kid not been the pass for whole college. The whole district. Then they take the exam, they all fail them. I mean, it's fearful. If you get a nation who say one whole district, nobody passes the goal. It's mind-boggling. This time, at least, they don't begin to show signs of improvement. 49 of them pass clearly for goal.
Wow.
That is small, not so. But that they encourage people to say, they wait till they will not begin to. They show result.
Yeah.
For the girl picking them, the first lady back, they make your effort. Forgive them. Women face a lot. But some of them we don't do, so when I know the struggles, they will not go against. So the girl child needs special attention for making able, because we don't notice the gender parity. When I can start 50-50, when they go. But as soon as they go, by now in particular, what you notice is by the time that they take this final exam, senior secondary school, then the woman, the girl picking there, most of them don't get there, they don't give their hands in marriage, and now the boys they don't want to continue. Very few girls there, and then they continue to university or higher education. So we need for stop all of this. We need for some of them who go holiday, now even now in a community, if not to schools there, engage them. We notice that when you engage them and talk to them, then they get hope. Then they know say it is not just, one of the things they were in the food there with iPhone. Then fake iPhone there. Talk to them, let them know say there are better things. Today, we representative na the Hague, na woman. When I hold in here, we can have a lot of women. In fact, in this last exam, the women they pass the sciences more than the boys there. Just the impact of the policy shift, which they don't they do. The girl picking and they pass the sciences, pass the boy picking there. This short time, because now we don't say any care picking where they do sciences. From where you start now preschool, you can go now you go finish your engineering or what you say, SLPP will pay for you. So we take the excuse them away because they don't lag behind so much. We get forgiven special support for men and camp. So if you are a smart guy, you do sciences, your daddy or your mama not get for pay nothing for you. We they pay. Is it easy? No. But is it necessary? Yes. If we are going to be a useful part of the 21st century and be part of the looming fourth revolution, industrial revolution for CAM, when I don't say it's digital, it's knowledge based. If we get for make sure say the education will be given, now quality education will be necessary for that sort of world. This is what we want to aspire to. So a lot of things then. You never believe the curriculum not been there even for my school thing. How were we teaching? And now, in fact, at the unit force, now one person be there. How can you? So there are so many things to do. And a lot of people don't know exactly what we are doing. And it is difficult for even going up there and just say, you don't say if you get up, they go to school, they don't get curriculum, they don't get this, that. They don't understand that. So that is where Mr. Dima, you know, they appreciate the effort of Wuna, when social media gurus them, where they put the information out. Because there is a whole lot of misinformation too. Yeah. You have a war to win. Then they put a wrong information, make many things look very bad. It's not like that. Sierra Leone has moved on. Can you imagine? The development partners, they all agree with you, say, for make you embark on development, you always forget a strong census base. You will know the people, the almost people in the country. You will know almost in that district, almost in this chiefdom, almost speaking the day. Now the primary source for all data. We say, well, this thing will not be count, it not be proper. No count again. They say, no, we not agree on count. That is the most unprogressive thing I've ever had. They don't say can't touch. They say no, I just can't count you. They say no, we're not agreement on a country. Make it call them Nyampi, they not agree. The person don't if you not agreement enter that room. Not that. They know it's never don't do. So the number one will enter in guns. But you are disrupting national development. That is what we have to deal with. And we need a critical mass of us thinking well for our country to make we able defeat the one day we get any kind of negative tendencies. And at that we seek. We look for many people. You don't have to be SLPP. You don't have to know me. But you have to understand that, Sierra Leone is in the right direction. The new direction is the right direction. We need support, we need help. Just some of the things they want to say, they encourage we. For not saying, yes, you are heading in the right direction, and that there are people who don't buy into this, and that you have a whole lot of people that will help. You don't necessarily have to, it doesn't have to be money. So this is why we appreciate meetings like this. And I really want to say thank you to all of you. Mr. Sharif, I don't know how Germany, did we forget to know. That's a sacrilege. Don't forget Germany. in the European Union. You know, they forget Germany. Ambassador Monaco, they make them mistake. When I talk to some people, they go like, they discuss Ayana, they divide Germany. And in a federation, they say they federate. So how is Europe, mainland Europe? Because when I say from the Ayeri Kumba, Simona Stiger Hodus, when maybe with the first shot we will take at that, I don't know if this man will be chairman, so you know the politics of the diaspora. So we will make him first take a first shot at that problem, and then he will tell then the party will be able to tell how we will sort that out. So, we know say problem there, you don't definitely allude to them, and they get it and they're not fine. We want to make progress, and we need one put it together.
Unit. Yeah.
Well, actually,
it is difficult but not impossible.
They don't really try to bring peace. We
But
don't really try. We don't want the embassy twice, for peace talk.